Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Mike from the Muser Resolute. If you've just clicked on here because I did the last Ren song, I've got a few things I need to talk about first, and I never usually do this. I'm going to look at some of the comments if you can stick around, because I do want to talk a little bit about copyright, because there was a little bit of a problem that people had with me blocking out parts of the video. I do understand your concern, and it is super annoying. I get it. I really do. And it's super annoying. This is my video here, which I believe I just released in the last certain amount of hours. And even the first comment, so hi to you, Till, and sorry, I can't read it from this far. But if you're watching, hello, and thank you for your comment. I really do appreciate it. I see every comment. Ren supports reactors. There is no need to block out parts of the video for copyright. Let the whole piece of art play through. The visual elements for the video are just as important as the work. Agree. I agree. In terms of blocking it out, I've blocked it out post editing. Obviously, I watched the whole thing myself. So from the point of me consuming it, I heard the song from start to finish, and I saw the clip from start to finish. So the people who are actually missing out are the people who have seen it many times. You guys, the fans. This has garnered quite a few comments, actually, because there are a few people who agreed and there are a few people who disagreed. And I did go and heart a few comments, but one which I really, really liked, firstly, and I'm going to clear a few things up here. So thank you to SuperTuscan9512. They speak about, in terms of Ren and 50% and of revenue and such. As far as I'm concerned, you either own the copyright material or you do not own the copyright material. So here, there's a little bit of a talk about what qualifies as fair use. And it's actually hard. It's not black and white. It's not black and white what qualifies as fair use. It's very much up to the copyright holder. So I'm about to explain what goes behind disputing copyright and what that looks like from my end and the end of many people on YouTube using copyrighted material in their video. There's a thing called Content ID, or Automatic Content ID. So when I'm uploading a video, there is visual, sometimes there is audio, and YouTube will automatically pick up on particular parts which are protected under copyright because the production company or the record label, that's what I'm looking for, the record label has submitted that to YouTube. This is no different. So there are fair use requirements, and it's not black and white what they are. So I have had many comments saying Ren's great with reactors. Ren comments on reactors all the time. I don't like the term reactor because it implies that all the person is good for is reacting to a particular whatever they're watching or listening to. And sometimes that's fine, and that's what you're here for. I've got no issues with that, if you are. But reactions are not content, and I don't think using the copyrighted content and monetizing that is a good thing to do at all. So this person who commented thinks that it's more visible from Ren's perspective because considerable the number of his video, whereas the total views of reactors and reactions considers greater from the video itself. So what's actually happening is that artists and record labels are losing money by people using the copyrighted content. So to clarify a few things, there are two things that happen. One of three things that's going to happen when I upload my video. And I know that's one of three things. Number one, there's no copyright content found. In a page which is monetized, this means that I can put ads on my video and I can get money from the video. Not much money, but it's some money. Number two, the copyrighted content is found. The video is ineligible for monetization. However, it's viewable to anyone who watches it or a portion of the world. Number three, it's blocked. It's blocked in certain countries, or it's blocked and no one can see it. This means that it will not be viewed no matter what happens. It's ineligible for monetization as a result. So it's one of three things. Either no copyright content, ineligible but viewable, or blocked. Hey everyone, Mike coming to you from the future. There is actually a fourth option regarding copyright, which is shared monetization. So if it's a composition claim or a cover, the copyright owner can determine that it can be shared with the content creator or the reactor. In this case, Ethan Bear, who is in charge of doing all the copyright stuff for Ren, has confirmed
that this is not the case with Ren. As stated in a lot of the comments of my Ren video of Hi Ren, he does release the copyright to pretty much all reactors and anybody using it for that purpose. There was a really excellent statement and answer given by Ethan, so I will be contacting Ethan just to ask and get permission if that statement can be made public so that people actually just know about that, and that'll just settle everything.
And the copyright content ID can pick up on visuals, can pick up on audio, or can pick up on both. So what I did was I went and re-uploaded my original Hi Ren video before it was edited, which means none of the copyrighted stuff was blocked out. As you know, I stop sometimes in between to talk. In this case, this is what's come up. We have an exclamation mark here on the checks. We have copyright, which is usually what happens. I'm actually surprised if it doesn't. Copyright protected content found. The owner allows the content to be used, but you can't monetize your video. This enables the copyright content owner to put ads onto my video and make money off my video, which is fair enough, especially if I'm using their copyrighted content and I'm taking their intellectual property. That's fair. Now, I go and I think, you know what, I actually think that I should get some money from this. Let's pretend that's the case. I click on see details and I want to dispute this, right? So I go down here and the copyright content is called Hi Ren by Ren, and the content found is within this time slot. And there could be many other ones. It just picks one. What's important is this. This is calling it an audio visual claim, which means if I want to make money off this and say I get to own this copyrighted content for fair use purposes, I should rightfully be justifying why I get what somebody else's intellectual property is. Why should I make money off that? It's not mine. So I can click select action. I can trim out the specific segment, or I can dispute it. If I choose to dispute it, I go down and I press continue. And I tick a bunch of boxes. And I say that I've got a copyright exemption because I believe that this is fair use. I continue. I tick some boxes. Tells you a bit about something here, that each case is different, which it is. I click continue, then I select my type of reuse. You have reaction video, which means it seems like they can justify it through reaction video. I often click educational video because the way that I work is that I want to provide something. I'm not there to make facial expressions. I'm not there to just go, oh my God, this is amazing, which I will do every so often, of course, because I can't help that. But I want to provide some kind of quality. But we know that my specialty is in music. So let's go back and realize that even though I go, let's use this as an educational video, questions to consider. How much of the original content have you used? Have you transformed the original content? Is your video a substitute for the original content? I've got answers for them, but I don't have good enough answers for this particular one. Why? Because when I go back, let's take a look at what my issue is. The issue is this is an audio visual claim. I don't comment often on the video. I can make a judgment at the end and say, you know what? I think I have provided enough in good conscience, enough information, opinions, and useful insight to my audience to justify that I have transformed it and have given a new view and insight to it. I'd make that decision. In the case of Hi Ren, I did not. For the visuals, I did not. So I couldn't go in good conscience and dispute the copyright, even though you could view my content if I wanted to release it, dispute the copyright on an audio visual claim. I could have tried, and you know what? They could have released it and I could have gotten it. But I would have not been able to say anything except I pause the video every few minutes. And to me, that's theft. To me, that's taking somebody's intellectual property, their creativity, and profiting off it. That is not what I am here to do. So instead, I knew that it was an audiovisual claim because I go and put it up to see what I'm dealing with. And I then went out to block every so often what was going on until I re-uploaded my original video to show you. So this is now the one which was edited. I have my copyright claim. For this particular video, same thing. Copyright content is protected. I'm going to click See Details to see what kind of content ID. This time, because I had blocked some out, it is now only an audio claim. That makes me feel better. That means that I have justifiably, within the content ID, blocked out enough to show that I am not, in their eyes, ripping off their content. So in that case, I end up going to select action. I think to myself, great. Now this is just talking about the music. I dispute it because I feel like, you know what? I feel like I want to at least be compensated for this because I think maybe I'm offering something different. Fair use, tick a bunch of boxes, and now I can successfully answer the questions. How much of the song, the last video, it said how much of the content, how much of the song have you used? Have you transformed the song? Is your video a substitute for listening to the original song? I've got a response for that. If you want me in another video, I can take you through what I do. And I will tick educational video. It's a legal document. I'll write it up, tick, 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 write my name, press, and now I have disputed this. And it is up to the copyright owner if they would like to release the claim to me. If they don't within 30 days, I automatically get it. So there's two things happening here. I could have either disputed the original one without blocking any of it, and I could have been released. It could have, I don't know, but I didn't. And I didn't in good conscience because I don't believe that's the right thing to do. When I make my videos, I'm here to offer an insight and offer something different and something new and make something fresh. Whether that connects with you or not, that's up to you. You'll either come back to my videos or you won't. And I believe what I do, judging by the comments that I get, often does provide new insight across a range of different styles of music. I believe that the type of content that I create, which is not just reactions and sitting there and going, oh my, wow, that's amazing, is not ripping off the copyright content's owner, not a substitute for listening to the piece of music because I'm stopping it often, potentially blocking out the visuals if it's a visual claim. And my video will help potentially, as it drive new listeners and existing listeners back to the original video to listen to those things that I spoke about and put it into further perspective. Therefore, the copyright owner, in my opinion, faces no financial loss from my use of the copyrighted content, and if anything, serves to stand a smaller tiny financial gain from me giving a greater perspective to existing fans who know the song very well. You're here to see a Ren song. And I don't know which one I'm doing yet. Actually, I do think I know which one. Because there was an amazing, awesome commenter who, let me find it. So back in my MTR days, so this person, I don't recognize him all the time, but thank you, Elenaro FF3948. For everyone asking him to do the tales, just know MTR focuses on sound much more than lyrics, so don't give him grief when he doesn't get the twist. For more sonically Annie's, they've recommended. So thank you. I did comment and I misunderstood and thought that maybe there was a twist at the end of Hi Ren that I didn't get. They then justified and said, no, twist at the tail end of Tales of Jenny and the Screech. So I've decided I am going to do this, but beforehand going to reply, you're amazing, because you are. Thank you so much. I'm going to take my chances on Tales of Jenny and Screech. He's so proficient. What key are we in? I need to open up Logic Pro. I got to talk about that. We're going to open up so I can get my... Got it. Oh, there were so many things more I wanted to talk about for the comments. Yeah. There was a comment about my style of editing, which I agree wasn't very good. It was a bit all over the shop, so I'm going to get someone else to do it. What I wanted to speak about with this particular part, this intro. This here is amazing because it is so simple going down this scale, but not resolving to the tonic. So the expectation is it should feel resolved. So that's what I'm expecting here right now. So if you want to make me feel less tense after listening to that awesome guitar introduction, you will resolve it on an A minor chord. And you should. Can't believe it's 34. Speeding it up. He didn't fully resolve it. Kind of did, but didn't fully. Leaves us on the edge. Beautiful vocal tone. That cough was on purpose, wasn't it? Everything you do is on purpose. And there's no point of coughing if it's a mistake. And you know what? It might have been an improvisation, but it is important. The way he's changing his vocal tone there is a signifying Jenny. So there is a twist at the end of this. It's kind of like a little bit like a trumpet, isn't it?
It was a quiet dark night in an empty street somewhere in London City. Jenny walked alone, she was dragging her feet. She was heading back home to sleep. Well, she knew this town, she knew this floor, because she walked it about 1,000 times before. She wanted to escape. Can you blame? Well, on the very same night, in a different place, there was this hooded young youth by the name of James. He was 14 years old and out of his brain. He'd been smoking ganja with the boys. James, he grew up to be a kid of the street. His mates called him Screech. He was quick on his feet. He was a liar, a thief. At 14 years old, the devil had set his sights on his soul.
Look, one thing that I agree with what I searched up in light of that pseudo reaction that I saw, which I just slammed by again. I'm sorry. Don't hate me. Feel free to send me an email. Hit me up. We can be friends. I don't think our worldviews align, but that doesn't mean you're not a good person. It doesn't mean I'm not a good person either. No, wait, there are no good people. So, sorry, I gotta stop. Is that there? When I researched, is he religious? It was kind of indeterminate, and I believe that what I saw was that Ren had not really said that he aligns himself with a particular religion, but that there are a lot of religious imagery or allusions within his music. And I think religious imagery and allusions are brilliant. They really are, because they bridge between, reality and spirituality in a really lovely way, because there are so many things you can do with these metaphors. There really are. Which, in this case, describing James Screech, as somebody who's not a pleasant person, who this 14-year-old girl is falling for because he's a bad boy, right? You can see the way that his guitar strumming is changing to develop from a more, like he did in Hi Ren, a more kind of finger picking, using then percussive, and then, of course, more aggressively strumming on every beat.
Liar, a thief, at 14 years old, the devil had set his sights on his soul. As Jenny walked home all alone, she felt scared. Usually she was alright, but it was like there was something in the air. A divine intervention telling her to beware, maybe intuition bogging her and making her so scared. Maybe she's in love with him. Sirens sound in the distance with the beat of Jenny's feet. A symphony of the night that echoes crime on London streets. Jenny turns a corner, their eyes they meet. A boy called Jenny, a boy named Screech.
Oh, I completely just misinterpreted that. She doesn't like him. Okay, no, sorry. Scratch that. I thought this was going to be some love story where she's like, oh, here's this boy. No, not happening, obviously. She's going to be robbed, as I can see the lyric right there. But you can see, like he did with Hi Ren, not just changing vocal tones from something sweet to something a little bit more aggressive. This is reflected in his guitar accompaniment, with just finger picking or more lightly strumming those chords or picking those chords versus more aggressively strumming the chords when he's speaking about Jenny in contrast with Screech. These personality differences are not just highlighted by the lyrics and not just highlighted by the change of Ren's vocal tone. They are highlighted with everything else going on in the instrumentation, which is bloody brilliant.
Turns a corner, their eyes they meet. Our poor girl Jenny, a boy named Screech. Give me all your money, bitch, give it to me.
See?
If you cooperate, then you'll soon be free. I want your purse, your phone, don't fucking look at me. I mean it, bitch, are you listening to me? Jenny freezes statue like a lady shakes stalactite. Feel like liquid nitrogen in the dark night. She tried to find strength to move, but stayed as still as a statue in high-heeled shoes.
I need to correct him on something. Isn't a stalactite one that hangs from the top? Shouldn't it have been stalagmite? Again, maybe there was some reason why. So obviously we've got Jenny nearly finishing here, and then we've got Screech.
What the hell you playing at? You playing games with me? I swear to fucking God, I'll slice the rosy off your cheeks. You think I don't mean it, girl? You don't know me. The last thing you see will be a boy code. Screech reached with the sheath, with the blade, with the teeth that could bite through steel and slice concrete. And he swung possessed with the devil in his chest, and the statue she was turned to butter in her breath. It was a quiet dark night in an empty street somewhere in London City. Jenny lay still on the cold concrete. She's found somewhere to sleep.
This is interesting because let's just listen to that a cappella part where he's descending and those pitches that he's hitting are kind of in the middle and are a lot more lazy, done lazily.
On the cold concrete, she's found.
No, before that.
Jenny lay street. It was a quiet dark night.
This melody
in
repeats
an empty
often.
street somewhere in London City.
Yeah. So he's got one pitch, but the one pitch for each syllable here. We're in London City. But those pitches are so different to the ones he just used. They're just hanging out somewhere in the middle and very unclear, which is demonstrating confusion. It's demonstrating maybe lost hope, all kinds of things which don't have clarity.
Jenny lay still on the cold concrete. She's found somewhere to sleep.
This time that was a lot more pitched. Compare somewhere in London City to... She's somewhere in London City. She is... where is that? London is huge. Where is it? If you go, you're somewhere in London City. There's a lot of uncertainty there. Therefore, an unpitched... Not just an unpitched vocal, it was pitched. But a pitched vocal which was not aligned to our Western ears. Compared to found somewhere to sleep, where his pitches were a lot more clear. She's found somewhere to sleep. At least it's a little bit settled at this point. So she found somewhere to sleep. We're going to show that through more definite pitches or more easily relatable pitches because there's less uncertainty here. If that makes sense. Small little things, linking your lyrics to your melody.
Still on the cold concrete, she's found somewhere to sleep.
So much better.
Well, she knew this town, she knew this floor.
Listen to that vibrato in
she
his
walked
voice.
it about 1,000 times before. I guess that she escaped.
Oh, different chord there.
It's such a shame.
Melisma. So that's been ended on. That's ended on a chord which was not the tonic, which means we haven't gone home. We feel like there's a question mark. There's a continuation happening. F sharp half diminished. It's question mark. Let's see what happens. This reminds me of Baroque music. like lute baroque lute music from like the 1600s. The rhythms used. I've got to pick up on something. It's so virtuosic. Screech's tail. So the chord that he's ended before. Question mark. It's somewhat of a resolution, barely, but he's gone into G minor, which is a tone down. No, we're not. We're in E minor. Oh, okay. Here we go. Thought we were in G minor. I was wrong. That's even better. So the resolution at the end. So we've got this A minor tonality, and at the end of Jenny's tale, we end on this question mark. And the beginning of Screech's tale is there. It actually is a nice resolution. It works. So are these going to come full circle? Because this harmonically, the end of the tale of Jenny was a question mark. But the beginning of the tale of Screech was in a key which that question mark resolves itself to.
Our story, it starts right
It's a
at
waltz.
the end of the life of poor Jenny, clocked out like Big Ben.
It's a beautiful waltz, isn't it?
Screech, dear boy, where did he go? He melted into the black night just like snow. Patrick, man, let me in, please open the door. I think I fucked up, Patrick, really fucked up, man, I'm not sure. I got crazy, left this lady lying still on the floor. I think I killed her, Patrick, come on, man, I can't knock no more.
Did I say Jenny was like a young girl? She's not. She's an adult, isn't she? Of course. So he's got a conscience. The use of this... this waltz is very romanticized, right? Like it's romanticizing this whole concept, which is such a juxtaposition to what this is really about. So it's like a dance, it's like this beautiful dance, but this guy has just thought that he's killed someone and he's got a conscience. He just wanted to steal her money, but we know that that doesn't always go to plan, and that's where things start going really wrong.
Still on the floor, I think I killed her, Patrick, come on, man, I can't knock no more. But Screech kept on knocking till his knuckles became sore. But there's no sign of Patrick down at number 54. No refuge for our villain, for the bitter hands of fate, with something far more sinister in mind that does away. Hey, babe, you in? Now, nothing really, I'm just a bit tired, listen. Can I swing around yours for a few moments? I just really miss you, babe. What the fuck do you mean you're busy? You fucking bitch! For fuck's sakes!
There was a rhythmic element to that. There was a really, really rhythmic element to that.
Siren sounds approaching like a banshee in the night. The shrill cry of justice cutting like the sharpest knife. But Screech was never one to run, not one to miss a fight. One hand upon his blade, he turned to face the blue lights. Come on then, you fucking cunts, let's fucking have you then. I am Screech, I'm the boss, I'm the ender of men. You think that uniform you're wearing means that you own these streets? These are my fucking streets, and they call me fucking Screech. Richard was an officer who stood at 6'3", working London on the night shift. What he didn't think he'd see was a boy running at him like an animal possessed. With no time to hesitate, he fired 4 bullets at Screech's chest.
Oh, I'm about to do the gunshot. He's like a master storyteller. And this is actually cool because it's like one of these episodes where there's 3 tales and then they all kind of come full circle at the end. And that happens. It's a very good storytelling technique, which there is actually a Simpsons episode about it. And I thought it was one of the greatest Simpsons episodes ever when I was younger. Unfortunately, it is probably after season 10 at some point, which was kind of where the Simpsons started falling. Regardless, Simpsons did this kind of thing as well. So Simpsons did it, but I can see what's about to happen here. I'm just kind of laughing at Screech's character, not because I think it's funny, but because he's a pathetic character. He really is, and he thinks he's all that very clearly. He's about to get his comeuppance here, as we can tell. And when we look at the way that Ren is projecting and portraying this story, we need to continuously remember that this is effective because of what he's doing with the concepts of music here, because of how he's delivering this in the way that he's playing his guitar, the way he's strumming, the way he's finger picking, the way his vocal tone is relating to the story. Is it a more sweet, calmer vocal tone? Is it a more aggressive? Is it a more husky vocal tone? Is it something which is a lot harsher? Is he screaming louder? Is he singing softer? Is he strumming more percussively? Is there the waltz? Is there not the waltz? So you see how this aspect of storytelling, where these lyrics are not good on their own, they're good on their own, but they're not enough, and they never will be enough. You're going to read them like a poem, but they're never going to be the same unless you hear this. I want to see where he gets shot, how he's doing this with his guitar.
He fired 4 bullets at Screech's chest.
Oh, Screech is behind the camera. Bye, Screech.
Story, it ends right at the start. Young Screech and poor Jenny lying 1 street apart. An officer shaken by the boy that he claimed. 2 bodies lay lifeless, and it's such a shame. It's such a shame.
It was very jazzy at the end, wasn't it? Another question mark. There's your other question mark. It's a 9th. Oh, so she died? This is how clearly... I just thought she went to sleep. I thought this was innocent. Jenny's dead? What? Never trust me with lyrics. Question mark always. You think... So see how he's done this arpeggio on the guitar. An arpeggio is playing every note of the chord one after another. And if you do so on the piano, you play the notes like that. Whereas on the guitar, he'll be just strumming those strings. So the chord not arpeggiated would be like this. The chord with an arpeggio. So as he's strumming each note, this is the home chord, this is our E minor chord. We're talking about we're home. So each note is moving and representing that next note, which makes up that home chord. Let's see what he does. He could have just strummed it, right? But he's doing so in a very meticulous way to make us go, you know what, this is the end. Or is it? Because he gets our arpeggio out. There's the chord. If it's the end, we're expecting this. But what does he do? E minor, major 7th, add 9. That's our home chord, but that's not our chord we want to resolve on unless we're doing a jazz piece of music. Unless this is jazzy. Is the next part going to be jazzy? Because he did do this little improvisation which was kind of jazzy. Let's take a listen in blues.
It's such a shame.
It wasn't really that jazzy, was it? It was just this beautiful melisma. Scratch that. Or is this just going to be a 12-bar blues section with Violet's story? Who's Violet? I recognize that outfit. Similar to the beginning of the last one. I'm wondering how much of this is pseudo-improvised versus how much of it is written, because he's doing, again, a lot of virtuosic stuff here. If this were a classical piece of music, this would be written note for note, rhythm for rhythm. Has Ren outlined this chord progression and he's just kind of improvising around it for the determined amount of time? I don't know. Somebody can help me out there. The rocking back and forth, the eyes. You look paranoid, and that's what's meant to happen. Ooh. I love his vibrato on those high notes. It just works.
London City, far from pretty, 2005. A lady down in Paddington is fighting just to stay alive. Rhythmic beats and bloodstained sheets. Our lady weeps, she's tired and frail. To set the scene, we must rewind the hands of time for Violet's tale.
It's interesting. So, by the looks of it, Violet's tale is going to be occurring before the tale of Jenny and Screech. As indicated by, we have to wind back. She's sick. We have to wind back the hands of time for Violet's tale. In doing that, a very smart technique on the guitar is going up in in semitones, essentially. That was so bad. I'd get out my chordy app, which I want to do now, because it's important that from a musical perspective, you see what I mean by semitones. So when we're talking chromatic, and I speak about this in some other videos, for those who are not as comfortable with music theory, I always like to look at a piano because you can visually see it really well. On a guitar, you'd be looking at the frets. Each fret up is one semitone. And chromaticism very much is used as a tool to create dizziness, to create confusion, to show confusion in storytelling. But what do we think of when we think of confusion and dizziness? We think going around and around and around. But what do we think when we think winding back the hands of time? We have that same turning motion. So that's what he's doing here on the guitar. And as you can see, you're moving up one fret at a time. He's turning back the hands of time. I wonder how that would have gone if he went backwards instead. Because it is interesting that he went up and it still equally works. But could he have started up the top and then went back down to signify we're going down or back? There's a reason why he does everything, and he's the musical genius here. So go one fret at a time. Nice vibrato at the top.
was a silent girl, grew up with violent starts. Her mother was a drinker and her father was a bastard. Every night he took her tie but never left the room. I'll spare you with the things he did, I'm sure her mother knew. Violet was a silent girl, she moved out at 16. A semi-detached council flat, paid for by a welfare scheme. Packing shelves at Tesco, stacking jars like pickled bricks. She met a boy named Stevie and he was a little prick. Violet was a silent girl and Violet she fell fast. See, Stevie was a wrong un, but he sure knew how to charm her.
Interesting. So we've got Violet's tale here, and I feel like I was so wrong at the beginning. I'm like, oh, here's Jenny. She's a young girl walking down the street, and she sees this dude called James who's Screech, and he's a bad boy, but she likes him. But why did I even get that? I just think Jenny and Screech, and I think a couple, but obviously that's not the case. However, this is the case here with Violet and the dude that was mentioned over here. Beautiful vocal tone. I just can't keep complimenting.
See, Stevie was a wrong un, but he sure knew how to charm her. Every night he took her tie, but never left the room. History repeats itself, he'd paint her black and blue and dark. She never stood a chance.
Ooh.
The devil comes to dance.
So he had that devil illusion at the beginning as well for Jenny's story. They had those illusions with the devil and Screech. So this is why, of course, if you're religious and you might be watching this piece of music, you're going to have that connection. That doesn't mean that Ren believes in the devil, that Ren believes in the Christian God and Jesus and the crucifixion. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. That's not for me to decide or for me to care about. But what this is about is beautiful imagery. It's about poetry, and it's about, above all, music and that coming together. Interesting that the camera kind of panned up to the top there.
Devil comes to dance. Violet, why are you always so quiet? On her bedroom door and he's irate. He's been drinking and smoking, he's up late. And he stands by her bedside, she shakes, but her eyes stay shut. You fucking slut, I know you're up. And he pinches her eyelids and folds them up. Violet, why are you lying to me, Violet? She stays silent, things turn violent. That's the sound of his fists when they fall like a crashing pilot. Hit like hailstones, one to the collarbone, full force, full blown, blood splat, bone crack, knick knack, paddy whack, one to the jaw and the tooth spat, detached fist.
I just need to sort out what's going on. This guy's incredibly violent. This guy is not a good person. First and foremostly, Ren's got his guitar. Ren's kind of walking around and telling this story within a setting. How cool is it that he literally used the door? Different materials create different sounds. Obvious. We know that. The way that they're played and done. But we know that. He could have knocked on his guitar. That would have made a little bit more of a different sound. And if he didn't have the door there, for image purposes, knocking on the door really helps. So just these little things we take for granted when we listen, it's called tone color or timbre. How different sounds are used and their method of production to create music.
Blood splat, bone crack, knick knack, paddy whack, one to the jaw and the tooth spat, detached fist connects and disconnects a bone. A quick deflect to misdirect the blow, but nonetheless his punches met her throat.
So he's
such a mess, he's left her bruised and broke. Violet, why you always so silent, Violet? Why you such a little liar, Violet?
Oh my God.
Do you think I want to do this, Violet? In character, she stays silent. Well, say something, Violet. Silence. Fucking say something, Violet. Silence.
Notice how the underlying rhythm of that melody, or the melodic rhythm, is still happening. Da 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 da. It's very much, you don't have the guitar accompaniment. It's a cappella, and it's still, you can count it. It is still so metric. This story is continuing without interruption.
Violet. Silence. Fucking say something, Violet. Silence. Wait. Say something, Violet. Not one word. She stays quiet.
going back. Not.
London City, far from pretty, 2005. A lady down in Paddington is fighting just to stay alive. The doctor, in a state of shock, saw something here so very wrong. See, Violet, she was pregnant. Poor Violet, she was 9 months gone. Turning to the doctor, Violet broke her silence and she cried, if I'm to die right here tonight, please let my baby stay alive. The doctor soon regained composure, called the surgeon to come in. As Violet's world turned to black, the curtains closed, the lights went dim. In London City, far from pretty, 2005. A lady down in Paddington just lost the fight to stay alive. A tragedy or a miracle, it happened on these very streets.
I think I know where this is going.
Are lying side by side. A girl named Jenny and a boy named Screech.
Oh. Two twins are lying side by side. A girl named Jenny and a boy named Screech. So Violet is 9 months pregnant.
In a state of shock, saw something here so very wrong. See, Violet, she was pregnant. Poor Violet, she was 9 months gone. Turning to the doctor, Violet broke her silence and she cried, if I'm to die right here tonight, please let my baby stay alive. The doctor soon regained composure, called the surgeon to come in. As Violet's world turned to black, the curtains closed, the lights went dim. In London City, far from pretty, 2005. A lady down in Paddington just lost.
I'm not getting the twist. I'm not getting where the implication is that Screech and Jenny are siblings. Is the twins a metaphor? Two twins lying side by side. Violet was pregnant, Violet died, Violet's baby was delivered. There was only the word baby. There was no indication that Violet had twins. Therefore, Violet is not the mother because it wasn't even hinted at any point that Violet was pregnant until after she was bashed and after she said that she wanted her baby, not babies, to stay alive. Hey everybody, I'm coming to you from the future again. I don't usually do this, but the reality is I'm looking through my video after this has been edited and I'm still finding little bits here that I want to talk about. And this is ridiculous. I don't usually do this, but I have to. And I have to do it because there's no point in making a second video about this when you can just find it out here. So my issue was with this twist, right? First and foremostly, when did he mention that Violet knew that she was having twins? In reality, he didn't. But let's take a listen to this.
Please let my baby stay alive.
So if I'm to die right here tonight, please let my baby stay alive. There's one baby here, and that was my worry. But we know he does everything for a reason. We know musically and lyrically, he does everything for a reason. And to not ruin this twist until the end, it's been so subliminal here. And the only thing I can think of, if I'm to die right here tonight, please let my baby stay alive. He could have gone around this line differently. This line could have been I'm making this up right now. This line could have been, in this world, I've got no more to give, but please let my baby live. I just thought of that now, right? But instead he's chosen, if I'm to die right here tonight, please let my baby stay alive. Both of these mean the same thing, right? But it's only in Ren's lyric that baby, the word baby, precedes a word which starts with S. So within the automated lyrics here, if I'm to die right here tonight, please let my baby stay alive, the word stay starts with S. The plural of baby is babies. So we say it quickly. If I'm to die right here tonight, please let my baby stay alive. 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 Please let my babies stay alive. See where I'm coming from? This intentional choice to use please let my baby stay alive, the verb here to stay after the word baby, is becoming ambiguous. Is it one baby? But when you look back, what she is really saying, what Violet is really saying, is please let my babies stay alive. Please let my babies stay alive. And I had to say that because maybe it's true, maybe it's not. Maybe I'm making connections which are not there. But you can't have great storytelling with twists without some little Easter eggs in there to help out when you go back and go, oh my God, that's what they meant. And I firmly believe this is one of them because I've only experienced 2 Ren songs, but it's apparent enough that he doesn't make mistakes. And when I say he doesn't make mistakes, something this big, he will make mistakes in general, but something this big can't be overseen by somebody who lives and breathes music and poetry. Finally, in watching this back, let's take a listen to how this ends.
Side by side, a girl named Jenny and a boy named Screech.
And we go black. So let's take a listen again. Let's hear when the guitar drops out. At what point is the guitar gone?
It happened on these very streets, 2 twins, aligned side by side.
Gone. So he's intentionally stopped it there. It's ringing out. See his hand. Just look at it. He's purposely going, at this point, we need no other sound except a girl named Jenny and a boy named Screech. So let's take a listen again with that in mind.
Aligned on these very streets, 2 twins, aligned side by side. A girl named Jenny and a boy named Screech.
That's your final pitch that he's singing. That's the home key. That's a resolution. Now, if we notice how he resolved the last 2 tales, the Tales of Jenny and the Tales of Screech, both of them ended with a question mark. What musically was signifying that question mark or showing that question mark?
It's such a shame.
There's your question mark chord. And let's hear the end of Screech. What is showing us that there's a continuation here?
It's such a shame.
Both of which are by the guitar. You have a resolution in the vocals. All 3 times a resolution in the vocals, resolving down to that home note. But it is then followed by this guitar chord or arpeggio, symbolizing that we're actually not finished. Also, both times we have this beautiful melisma. And a melisma is singing various pitches over one syllable. So let's take a listen.
About 1,000 times
the vocal
before,
technique.
I guess that she escaped.
With reference to pitch, of course.
It's such a shame.
Here we've resolved on our home note here, the A. Let's listen to it at the end of Screech's tale. Both of which, of course, is It's Such a Shame.
It's such a shame.
So the use of melisma on both of those times, on the word shame, there's the poetic device of the repetition showing that both of them are doomed in a way, and it's a very tragic tale. But the use of melisma here is, okay, it's such a shame, it's resolving, but it's not comfortably resolving. Whereas let's hear what happens right at the end of Violet's tale, where everything comes full circle.
These two twins are lying side by side.
Guitar gone.
A girl named Jenny and a boy named Screech.
No melisma. Every syllable had its own pitch. We resolve on our home note. We have no guitar influencing our perception of whether there's a continuation. Conversely, one could argue that the absence of the guitar can potentially leave a question mark open to say, is there another side to the story? You have Richard mentioned earlier in the story. Can we hear Richard's tale? Can we hear that Richard may have been traumatized after what had happened in him killing a young boy? In this ending, it is unambiguously ended, or has it? So I can't just say something's unambiguous and then say it's ambiguous. But the absence of the guitar playing this question mark chord shows that we have a resolution. So could its absence also propel us to believe that there may be another story here? I'm going to cut back to my original thoughts. Thank you for sticking by on this one. So let's see. As we know, I suck at
Lost
lyrics.
the fight to stay alive. Very streets, two twins are lying side by side. A girl named Jenny and a boy named Screech.
Still in C sharp minor. Okay, so Jenny and Screech were the same age? Or is it metaphorical twins? I watched this saying, I will look out for the twist. I will understand the twist. I will follow the story. I will follow the lyrics. I will follow the lyrics whilst listening to the music and understanding the harmony, understanding the vocals, understanding the melody, and understanding the rhythm. But I didn't understand the twist. Please, someone blow my mind. If they are siblings, where was it hinted? It wasn't hinted at the beginning. It wasn't hinted in the middle. And it certainly wasn't hinted that she was even pregnant. Who's Violet? Because all I can think of is Violet was really screwed over by meeting a really horrible fate at the hands of a man, which is not uncommon in general. And I think it's great he's singing about domestic violence here, because we know, to get onto my political high horse, that men kill women, men kill men, and men kill women. So this is happening and this is very real, but she was pregnant, and what's going on? Because she's given birth to a baby and suddenly Jenny and Screech are twins with no hint. Let's just see. Because I don't know. But what I do know is this was magnificent. This was amazing. If you've gotten this far through this video, which is so long already, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you've learned something. I hope you've understood at the same time the concept of content ID copyright and what that means within a YouTube video. Let me know your thoughts down below about anything I discussed today. Bear in mind, I will try to get to some more Ren, but please do not subscribe solely for Ren. But if you do choose to subscribe solely for Ren, you will probably unsubscribe quite soon, which is fine if you want to. I just don't want to bombard your feed with things that you're not going to enjoy, because that's annoying. But thank you so much for watching. Until next time.